Karen, good morning. Please forgive me. It's been 14 years. I'm dying of congestive heart failure, and I'm nostalgic. I'm trying to go back to euphoria. I've had several dreams with you the past few months. I'm so sorry for our past. I never meant to. It was a covenant between us, not third parties, not rumor, not innuendo. I feel that I was kind of led into many, and I fell right into every trap. I turned myself inside out to save a doomed marriage, and I sincerely apologize. Ever since you've been gone, my equilibrium is shot. And yeah, I've told people you can die of a broken heart. It's very odd for me not to have a political. I've got the flag and Uncle Donald, and that's all I've done since Uncle Donald got off the escalator. Because we used to tape The Apprentice, and I'd bring home Parkway, and I do a stupid, foolish thing of not going to church with you until you needed. And those final days, going to church and being a part of the praise band, I wanted to rekindle and go back, but I failed. I really did. And every day has been. I didn't save for the rainy day that would become my life. And until Uncle Donald got off the escalator and I got up off my couch, Derek Merrin up north, he was running for state rep. He took over a volunteer rally for Donald J. Trump. I did my very first door knocking. I met Bob Latta within a week. Teresa Gavarone. I lit the fuse like Tom Cruise. Yes, like Pokemon. I had to collect all the shirts, yard signs. I have 80 shirts in my pantry, over 80, from every candidate that I've connected with. I Trek for Trump is my hashtag because Star Trek is very woke, and I'm a broken individual. I have no one to share anything with, really. I've dated 3, 4 times. I'm listening to Josh Groban. This is an album I didn't know he had, a different version of our song. Honey, I'm sorry. I didn't know there was a whole other second verse. I didn't know until I went to a Lutheran church that, and there should have been a second verse for us and a third, and we would have been together 20 years this year. We would have been married 21 years, November 15th, 2025. I don't know if I'll be alive by then, but there's so much I want to say, and there's so much I want to make up for, and I know it's been too long. I've been living in fear. You've been told to live in fear, to hate me, to fear me, and I turned myself inside out. I sold everything to the Brad Stroop character, and he took the Nintendo, just walked right in, took it. I was really devastated. I didn't know what I was doing until there was a third, and I called her Supergirl. My attorney worked pro bono to get me out of the two courts, and I was incarcerated because I broke a silly restraining order I should have never consented to. We should have been able to reconcile as adults. We were stronger and better than the people who are keeping us apart. And that's kind of how our nation is right now. It's really, it's sick, it's twisted. Anything Uncle Donald's done, nope. They're gonna talk about cats in Springfield and JD. I've worked for him. It's crazy cat ladies. It's nothing of substance or value or policy. It's just hate Trump, hate conservative, hate marriage, hate Christian, hate. And I don't want to live in a world of hate. With you by my side, I was the happiest man alive. My father told me that. Before he kicked me out because I wasn't wearing a mask. I had to live with my father for too many months, 4 years ago. And my brother Frank ratted me out with more than a dozen selfies, because I had 50 plus yard signs in my car. Yeah, I did my thing for President Donald J. Trump, for the election to be stolen and for all of us to be called insurrectionists. And What a convoluted nightmare mess it's been. This is what I believe. I listen to Tucker. I don't listen to my father. Well, you lied to me. But he did say, yeah, the happiest days, the happiest years of my life were with you. Thank you. Thank you for putting up with me, all my quirks, my idiosyncrasies. I had a very bad nosebleed. I shouldn't have had a glass of wine last night, but I was at another fundraiser. Fairs, festivals, parades, forums, fundraisers. I've done everything front to back, grassroots, door knocking, sine waves. Everyone has someone to go home to or someone to kiss goodbye in the morning. I don't. I regret every day that I failed you, and I'm sorry. I love you more than Christopher Reeve. He's been gone for 20 years. You were the only person on this planet who got me. You once wrote, "You understand me," on a card, and you understood me. I'm sorry. I really, this is something that I've wanted to do forever, and I saw you peeking in my reels. And I know that you were there when my mother passed 6.5 years ago. You were peeking. You don't have to live in fear of me, honey. We're better, we're stronger people than the people that put us apart, tore us apart. We had the longest kiss in church history. I couldn't listen to Josh Groban until recently. I'm sorry I'm kind of all over the place. There's so much I would like to say to you. And if you summon the courage to speak to me, that would be the greatest thing. I'm tired of living in fear. I love you and I miss you. When Chris Reeve passed, the cape went to you. And when you left me, I thought it would go to my father, but he deflected. When my mother died, all the conservative Republican values that he was brought up with died with her. And I did reconcile with my mother. And I should have had my mother, I should have reconciled when I was with you. And I can't turn back time. I can't be like Christopher Reeve and Robin Williams was there for him. I don't want to go Robin Williams route. I don't want to be like Heath Ledger. Everyone expects us to have a grocery list. Are you married? Check, happy. Successful career? Check, happy. Life is not the grocery list. If it's what makes, yes. And I'm collecting G.I. Joes. It took a while for me to even go into a Toys R Us, but my best friend, after you left, I went to Westgate Chapel and I met Doc Ryan. He was into Legos and he helped me tremendously. And then Obamacare, he was displaced. If you like your doctor, my best friend, well, that's you. And he was no replacement, but he was like the brother I should have had. And Doc Ryan went from, he had to take board exams all over. And I understand you're a nurse, STNA, and I'm so proud of you. I know you wanted to do something like that, and I'm sorry, I should have, and I didn't, and I thought I was doing enough. I took the courageous, I did everything in the church. I was with men's groups, and they just kept banging their chest, and they were chauvinistic, but Dr. Jim Ryan, we would watch The Expendables together. He would teach me of Lego, and I would, yeah, and then and then yeah, he had to move in with his parents in Dayton, and then he found a practice. He went from pediatrics to geriatrics, and he's in Memphis, Tennessee now. But he came to see me after I took myself out of the hospital. I was in Cleveland Clinic, and that's I think I'm running out of runway on my phone. All I do is video and take pictures, and it's really odd for me not to have a candidate shirt on right now. I'm sorry I have the Trump hat on, but that's someone that we shared together. That's why I love Uncle Donald so much. I have yet to meet him. But anyway, yes, Doc Ryan came to see me after I took myself out of the hospital, and I will tell you that 2 years ago I was diagnosed with peripheral artery disease. You could probably say it a lot better than I could ever. You really kept at church. You kept me in balance. We would watch Iron Chef. We would beat Nintendo games. I can't play a video game. Nate bought me this Nintendo whatever. It has 100 games from the '80s or whatever. I watched the demonstration just a few months ago, and I put it back in the box. I I, I, I just can't play games with anyone else. No, it's not right. I'm sorry. I maybe my blood is really thin. I'm on many medications, Plavix. I'm on well, that's a blood thinner. I'm on something called Lasix because my legs ballooned up 2 years ago. It was starting, and I was in the middle of 11 parades for Don Roberts, another good friend. When I came back to Delaware, I actually came. I didn't plan to live with my father for as long as I did, but I kept busy. And Don is a delegate for Donald J. Trump, and he was running for judge. And my friend Andrew Littler, who helped me move from my father's house, he was running for commissioner 4 years ago. Everything's connected. I had to do things just to keep myself occupied out of depression. Because I thought, well, 2020, I'm going to start a whole new decade. I'm not going to be depressed and divorce. And yeah, every day or every other day, a fair in a new town, Fulton County, or meeting Marilyn Johns at the Blueberry Fest, working for Troy Balderson, and that was a special election 6 years ago. Every day, no one brought me the happiness that you brought me. And I'm sorry. And I think about this song, and if I die, peripheral artery disease. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed. I didn't go to the hospital. Well, I went to the emergency room, but I didn't follow through. And then, like an idiot, I thought home remedy, well, I'll just take ginseng, vitamins, and, excuse me, honey. I'm sorry to call you honey. I know yes. And if you want a friendship with me, or you, at least here's the olive branch of peace after 14 years. Nothing would please me more before I die. I love you and I miss you every day. You can die of a broken heart. Life's not worth living without love. I'm sorry. But yeah, I took myself out of 2 hospitals. I'll just speed up. I was admitted to Mount Carmel here, and then took myself out. They said I have congestive heart failure. They knew that I had a liver issue. Um, I would do one and done margarita with Mexican, and then a glass of wine. Political, social events, Lincoln Reagan dinners. This is, yeah, I can do it. We're married still in my heart. My father died at my mother's side, and I had just gone to work. I was a weekend of Mike Gibbons working. First political gig. And my mother passed. And that was the day after her birthday. And you peeked in, thank you. And then you were gone, poof. Nothing to be afraid of. Absolutely nothing. I I don't know. Too many and we were never able to talk. So this is a positive risk. I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to take it. I've lost. Well, I collect the 6-inch GI Joes now, but and I collect Gremlins. Yum yum. Yeah, I'm goofy and I'm quirky, but I have no one to share anything with. Um, and I took myself out of the second hospital, Cleveland Clinic, and that's where they were gonna do 2 stents because with the liver condition I couldn't have triple bypass surgery. And when they put the catheter in my leg and they did the 1 stent, I flatlined. They put me in ICU, and I called my friend Joe Healy, said, "Get me the out of here." And yeah, that was right before Christmas last year. Life's not worth living without love. I have no female balance without my mother, without you, and I'm sorry. If I could turn back the world like Christopher Reeve, I'd do it on a heartbeat. I tried every trick. I tried, yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm going to end here very shortly. I appreciate you listening. Thank you. I never meant to be anything but, and I look back, and 2020 is the vision I wish I had now, as I need cataract surgery. And I'm dying. And I have no family because of Trump derangement syndrome. I've reached out to Nate in the hospital, Frank, and my father through the church. I don't do the Church of the Rainbow Flag. That's become the Methodist church that separated us. Larry Clark, I'd like to forgive him someday, but who called the police first is not the way to reconcile. And just to be on record here, no one hurt you. You had to look at the nurse's diagram. I was told by your mother that you should not get in a vehicle, or you could drive off, you could become schizophrenic. I had the fear of God, I was on no sleep, and I was trying to prove to the world, and I should have just let you go to praise band. I should have taken you. Shoulda, woulda. I failed. And then 2 courts, and no car, and buses, and a record. And that's not the covenant. That's not the longest kiss in church history. That's not of God. That's abomination. That's where our country is right now. Trans, queer, and mutilation of children, and killing babies, and Kamala versus common sense. 4 years, no wars, 62 plus billion, more yesterday. Wow. And we're in recession. And I'm dying of depression. And I don't want to give up, but I'd like to talk to you someday. If you summon the courage and the strength, if you can get away from whoever's... I have no idea what's been going on with you other than I'd just like to see you. If we could do Facebook chat, or this face-to-face, whatever, a Zoom, or if this is all it is and I had a chance to say I love you and I'm sorry, then thank you. Okay. Karen, when you dropped my last name, well, actually, I lost our wedding band. Jim Perkins was a very goofy person. I'm sorry about David Cole. I didn't know him. I didn't know he still calls and harasses me. And the Sanchez character person, what a bizarre world. And Satan was just pounding us and just dividing us and slicing and dicing me, and I was so stupid in love, tearing myself apart, turning myself inside out. And the pastoral counselor, Tom Marciniak at Christ the King, right there in Toledo, said, Andy, you had a wife on loan. It was never meant to be. It took me 3-4 years to call you an ex-wife. And when you dropped my last name, my adoptive name,